Welcome guys, we've had the Dutch Grand Prix and what a race we had in the end. All eyes were on Lando Norris right from the start, weren't they? And well, could he hold on to the lead? And Max Verstappen took a flying charge, took control early doors, didn't he? I mean, he was more than half a car ahead with, you know, well before the first corner, comfortably into the lead. And from there onward, it looked like, well, could Red Bull and Max hold on him? He's a master at doing this in front of his home crowd. Not quite, but both McLarens, in fact. Oscar Piastri behind dropped a place from P3 up into P4, and really that didn't help him at all, did it, from there? Stuck behind George Russell, who made a good start up into P3. The Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, decent race from him, made up a place as well. Pierre Gasly was the best starter on that one, made up 2 places, and Valtteri Bottas second, and probably that was the highlight of Bottas's race from there. Yeah, Carlos and Sainz and Lewis Hamilton were on a charge early doors. We then seen Kevin Magnussen make that mistake on lap 8 and go wide, and luckily didn't cause a safety car. I think that would have worked really well for Lewis Hamilton, considering he started on the softs. And then lap 18, Lando Norris. Well, from lap 14 we see Max Verstappen start to struggle in the tyres, and then lap 18 it all came together. Lando Norris got the DRS open, a comfortable pass on Max Verstappen, who really struggled from there, and then Norris off in the distance, a masterclass from him. Oscar Piastri then passed George Russell when he pitted lap 38. Then it was a bit of a steady race from there onwards. We've just seen the brilliance of Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton making a couple of moves. Oscar Piastri came out on a charge. He went long in his first stint, and we thought, right, drop back behind Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri, George Russell, and then was on a charge really, wasn't he, to try and make up them places. Past George Russell pretty comfortably, and then just got close to it, Charles Leclerc, but brilliant racing from Charles to hold on. I mean, to hold off Piastri was probably in the faster car. When you look at what Lando Norris had in front of him, especially in clear air, with what it was a second behind him, and stayed that from lap 46 all the way to the end. A really, really brilliant job from Charles Leclerc to just keep them tyres in the zone and without them falling off. Yeah, from there on we've seen Carlos Sainz closing in on Sergio Perez, who had not a great race from lap 42. Couple of closes, misses with Perez and Sainz. Lap 45 they got close, but then Sainz passed Perez lap 47. Oscar Piastri got into the DRS zone of Charles Leclerc lap 46, but then from there on that's as close as he got really. And yeah, Lando Norris checked out, won. Damage limitation from Max Verstappen to come back P2. Had Piastri got past Charles Leclerc early doors, I think the threat would have been really, can Max hold back Piastri, but we never really got to see that. And let's get to the 3 good and the 3 bad of the race. And for me, let's start with the first of that, Lando Norris. I think the really only downside of this was his start. He'll continue to have that scrutiny until he can sort of lead from pole into the first lap, isn't it? Didn't quite get rid of that pressure that's been building up that we've seen pre-race, and yeah, it was a lot of wheel spin. Just didn't seem to get away at all. Well, did he? Considering how quickly Verstappen was past him. Yeah, he was working on that all over this break, wasn't he, Lando Norris? And I think he's got a lot more work to do on that front. But once he got close on that move, he was absolutely long gone. Absolutely fantastic weekend from him overall. His pole lap was magnificent, and then to go away and run away with the race like that, I think he was just spot on from there. To beat Max Verstappen by 20 seconds. I mean, that's no joke. That McLaren is a serious threat, really. The only thing that they really need now to get this championship sort of battle potentially is for someone like Piastri just to keep make him, take points off Max Verstappen, and they kind of need Ferrari or Mercedes to get more closer to Red Bull and have a bit of a battle there. But there's still a bit of a gap between Red Bull, Ferrari and Mercedes at the moment. We've seen certain circumstances where the Red Bull is slower than both the Ferrari and Mercedes, but Max Verstappen just seems to do a fantastic job of keeping up and damage limitation when the car just isn't great. The second of the three good, I'm going to go for Charles Leclerc. I think he drove a tremendous race to finish in P3, started 6th place. When you look at his free practice sessions, the Ferrari looked really slow. In qualifying, they just didn't look like they were going to be anywhere close. 9/10 of a second off pole position to come home and beat a McLaren, and he wasn't a million miles away from Red Bull, so you can be really happy with their race pace. And they probably want to get better in qualifying, and they go to Monza after a really promising podium. I mean, Charles Leclerc just didn't expect that at all, did he? He was saying over the radio after the race that it was such a surprise to get that. It didn't look on, but what a fantastic job to hold the faster McLaren off for so long. He was in the DRS at lap 46, Piastri on Leclerc, and to keep him back for as long as he did, I think he did an absolutely fantastic job. 3 of the 3 good, it's going to be his teammate Carlos Sainz. Made up 5 places, started out of the top 10, and to beat Perez into the P5 was an absolutely brilliant job. He didn't really have to battle with George Russell. They kind of gifted the position there to Carlos Sainz, but he would look like he'd had enough pace to pass him. Absolutely tremendous to come home and finish 5th, beats a Red Bull, and again wasn't miles off Oscar Piastri in the end either. They can be really happy with that. Both Ferraris done a really good job and really helped them to finish so close together for the constructors. Let's get to the 3 bad, and I'm going to start with the Mercedes. They were 45 seconds down of race winner in the end, where they've gone from Spa winning the race, a 1-2 where they finished in that race, and they've gone to like the 4th fastest team now, haven't they? They've been beaten by the McLaren, Red Bull and Ferrari, so they'll be looking at and scratching their heads a little bit on that one. And I think the worst decision was to pit George Russell from P5, lost 2 places to Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez, went for the softs, and I really didn't understand the strategy decision on that one. They seen probably that Lewis Hamilton was quick, 1.2 seconds a lap faster than Sergio Perez ahead of him, but that sort of pace dropped off really quite quickly, and then from there on struggled. So to drop 2 places, and what they could have seen ahead of them with Piastri struggling to pass Leclerc at the end of the race, I'm not sure what they were thinking to give up 2 positions. A really bad, poor strategic decision on that one. And even in the end, when we seen Lewis Hamilton come on the radio say, look, is the fastest lap safe? He had the fastest lap at that time, and then Lando Norris goes and nicks it on the last lap. He was disappointed with the team on the radio on that one, because he asked, is it safe? I've probably got enough tyres to push a little bit, and Norris didn't absolutely wipe the fastest lap at the end of the last lap. It was half a tenth at most in it, where he took that fastest lap and point from Lewis Hamilton. So all round, I think Mercedes will be disappointed with how they've worked as a team. It was a slow stop for George Russell in the pits as well, so disappointing from them. Second of the 3 bad, I'm going for Aston Martin. Well, they both drivers started in the top 10. Fernando Alonso claws back a point, beat Nico Hülkenberg in the end for that point, but Lance Stroll dropped down, finished in 13th place in the end. They just were looking backwards. Not in any point of the race did they look strong, or in any part of it, especially down the straights. They looked like a sitting duck as soon as the DRS opened, which was they'll be hurt by that, and they'll be scratching their heads, both going away with good 1 lap pace, but absolutely shocking race pace, haven't they? They've got the complete opposite to work around with Ferrari, and if the points are given out on Sunday, they really need to knuckle down and get that one right. They've recruited well. I mean, that's more looking for next year after, but they kind of really need to get some upgrades in that car that actually work and bring them closer. Alpine are looking close and in a fight with them now, which was surprising that considering where they started this season. And the third of the three bad is Sauber, and they're looking like they're racing F2 cars, don't they? They were so poor. I mean, shockingly, Bottas was 16 seconds off in the end, P18. Zhou Guanyu 30 seconds off Valtteri Bottas. He had an absolutely shocking race. They both qualified decently well, so I mean they weren't on the back of the grid for a change, but to go from where they've been, well, Zhou Guanyu's on the back of the grid. I think we've seen him P19, but he finished last, comfortably last. Both guys beaten by Logan Sargent. It was dreadful. 20 and 19th to finish so far down. I mean, they've got absolutely the most amount of work to be getting done there, and Audi will be looking at that team thinking, these guys have got an awful lot of work to do. But there we go. That's the 3 good and the 3 bad done. Not a fantastic race, but thankfully we go quickly to Monza next, and well, it looks close. And again, shouldn't it, at the front, Ferrari's hometown, and after a surprise qualifying and good race, they can probably hope for maybe we can see a Ferrari on pole. They always pull out something out the bag there, so they're probably understanding the new upgraded floor there, so they'll probably be in a better position, you'd expect, for Monza. They do go quick and good well there, and right at the front, McLaren's, I mean, they look like they're bringing the fight to Red Bull. Red Bull be looking over their shoulder, eager for some upgrades to come and work, and yeah, they'll be going in as favourites, McLaren, again Monza next time out in my view, after that brilliant win to finish so far ahead of Max Verstappen. What a tremendous job from Lando Norris. And on to the next one quickly. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment as always. See you next time.